Hey, Shadow Riders Army, you want to start your own podcast? Well, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere in places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go on over and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. Anchor. Check it out. Peace.
Full tank of gas. Haters trying to stop me cause I'm moving too fast. I stay rolling on my grind with my money on my mind cause I'm riding, y'all. I'm riding fast, approaching red line. I'm ready to blow. Ballin' till I'm falling, I ain't trying to move slow. Play a holler at you later.
Yeah, Richard 10 Shadow Riders, listen. Yo, I'm on the top of the game. Hard body on top of these lanes. Switching gears in the Maserati. Driving insane as fly as can be. Giovanna rim size 23. Shit, I'm as high as can be. Ladies call me handsome. Way before I did the Shadow Riders anthem. Now I'm sitting in the Black Phantom. More than they can handle. I play the ball hard in the car, that's just coming out the front panel. What you know about that? But I ain't TIP, I'm RIC, KY. I show you how to stay fly in the daytime with Shadow Riders on my side, hopping up the G-Ride, I stay live. The boy wonder's not a talk of the town. Toasted up, never boast, yeah, I'm holding it down. Gunning for now, these tough Burger King niggas coming through steady, keeping the crown. While I'm in the fruit punch jag, popping up, riding around. Believe me, dog, this is real as it sounds. Shit.
Shadow Riders Ignitions.
You are now listening to the Shadow Riders Ignitions radio show. All about the JDM life.
Shadow Riders, baby.
What's good, Shadow Riders Army? Welcome to the Shadow Riders Ignitions radio show. I am your host, Shadow, aka Shadow Riders Leader, aka Shadow Riders Alpha, coming to you once again. It's been a while, but we got a great show for you. Today we're going to be asking the question, has JDM car culture faded away? We're going to answer that. So if you got some questions, make sure you send them in. This podcast is going to be fire. Be right back. Hey guys, did you know that Shadow Riders is the #1 JDM car culture community on the internet? You did it? Well, now you do. Make sure you go check out shadowriders.com. That's SHADDOWRYDERZ.com. Check out the hottest JDM news, events, culture, music, and more. So go check it out. shadowriders.com. There's blood in the streets. The Bonanjoke quality of life is in shambles. The balance of peace on Synergius is in a chaotic mess. The good guys are dropping like flies. Potential new warriors are frightened to death to take a stand. And then Phantom shows up, fearless and defiant. Brace yourself as Phantom charges forward in the most highly anticipated sci-fi story of all time, Phantom Force: The Awakening, Available on Amazon Kindle. Get your copy today. Want to learn the ins and outs of the cryptocurrency game? Well, join the Bitcoin Billionaire Brigade on Facebook. Learn tips and tricks of how to manage and grow your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency portfolio. And who knows, you just might be the next Bitcoin billionaire. Join now and make sure you smash that like button. For all my aspiring musicians and music artists out there, make sure you go check out digitalnomadmusician.com, where we focus on living the life of your dreams as a musician, traveling, and never having to worry about money. So if this sounds like something that interests you, make sure you go check it out. Digital Nomad Musician.
You are now listening to the Shadow Riders Ignitions radio show, all about the JDM life.
Shadow Riders, baby.
Alright guys, we back. So we're going to talk about, on today's show, we're going to answer the question, is JDM car culture fading away? Is the culture dying off? Do you see the enthusiasm and the turnout to all these events like you used to back in the day? Like even like five or 6 years ago. Back when Fast and Furious, the first episode of Fast and Furious came out, everybody was going crazy. That movie did so much for the car industry, not to mention JDM car culture. Paul Walker, his character, really put like JDM car culture on the map. You got this American guy who only loves to drive Japanese cars like the Supras and the GTRs over Dom, who is all about American muscle. And they really made a clear distinction into the two different styles of the car culture. And all this passion and enthusiasm, in the movies was a clear sign that the culture was backing it up. You got the drifting culture that came about. You got stance. That whole word, stance, came about because of JDM car culture. How you get your car suspension done so low to where they have to have a word like stance created to describe that type of suspension setup. So it's real. The culture is real. And though it started in Japan, it went all over the world. But going to events like Hot Import Nights here recently, the turnout's not as big as they used to be here, specifically in Dallas. We used to have WEC Fest, and they still got WEC Fest in Spokane, and mostly like California, the West Coast area. You see a lot of it there. All around the world, there's people celebrating this culture. You got Import Tuner magazine, Super Sport magazine. A lot of these magazines are going out of business too. There's not as many magazines covering the culture as it used to be. But you still go to the store and you see on the newsstand, you still see your basic, compact car magazine and American Muscle magazines and stuff like that. But there used to be tons of magazines on the shelves that were focused on just straight JDM car culture. And granted, a lot of those magazines went to digital because we live in a digital age. Everything is an app now, including your favorite magazine. So even so, you should be able to see signs of it on social media like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and it's there. But when it comes to going to the actual events, the turnouts ain't as hot as they used to be. Why is that? Or I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Do you guys think JDM car culture is fading away? If so, tell me how. And then, after you answer that question, I want to know what we can do to make the culture blossom even more? Like, what can we do to take it to a whole new level? What kind of events you want to see? Like, when I went to the Tokyo Auto Salon, like the first one I ever went to was back in 2006. That was dope. They had b-boyism, they had DJ battles, they had, you know, the dancing girls, they had little side events, little pop-off events and breakout sessions. They had go-kart races and RC races with the electric remote control cars. It was a huge thing. Then you got some events in the States that I've been to, they mixed in the hip-hop culture into it. You had skateboard competitions and BMX biking, all kinds of cool things, graffiti, art exhibits. You had people setting up their booth spaces with everything that you can think of. That whole life had so much energy to it, and I see it dying off every time I go out to events. I compare them to what I used to see a few years back, and it's kind of dying off. And I'm like, what is it that's missing, that's not happening? Like, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's also a fan of the culture, and he's like, they used to have more promotion efforts, and they had more people doing the promoting, but now they switched to a lot of just, you know, the swimsuit models, the JDM girls models. They are the ones that are doing most of the promotion. You got a lot of these JDM models that they have big followings on social media, and you got these companies using them, these event planners and promoters, using the girls to promote the events. But it's more than just the girls. It's the cars, it's the culture, it's the excitement. The excitement is missing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I remember like when Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift came out, that was the first time I saw in that movie that you could have a car meet in a enclosed parking lot on a rooftop. And after that, everybody started doing it. But what people don't know is in Japan, where I was at the time, everybody was doing it. You would go every weekend to places like Yokohama Bay Bridge and Rainbow Bridge, and they're doing that kind of stuff every single weekend. There was this one spot, there was one garage where I used to go and take my Honda Civic at the time, and the Japanese guys that were working there, we were good friends, and once they saw that I was into the culture, they gave me an informal invitation to the life. And when I saw what they shared with me, the world that they shared with me, it changed me forever. And it's like, after that, it's like I want to see that type of magic, that type of excitement and passion in all these different events that I go to. And if it's not up to par, it's like, man, I know a lot of these guys got money to drop into these cars, but it's more parts about the culture that you can participate in than just the cars and the girls. There's art, there's dance and song and music and lifestyle. There's so many things that you can embellish and blossom out of the culture and make it go even further. We got to take it even further. And so, like, when I made Shadow Riders, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to perpetuate it even more. And so, you know, maybe it's up to us. Maybe Shadow Riders got to be the organization that comes up with such events that just bring so much passion and excitement back into the culture. But I really felt like it was fading away. And so maybe it's just in the States. Maybe I'll take a trip to Europe and it's not as bad as it is in the States. I don't know. And then let's talk about that. Let's talk about where the culture has migrated to. So I know they have the culture in Europe, and Australia, and New Zealand, and Canada, and North America, and South America. But what about places like Manila? And I know it's spreading over there in China and Indonesia and, the South Pacific Islands and Africa and India and some of those other pockets, Russia. It really should be worldwide. We should have, every major city in the world should have JDM car culture outposts in it. Every major city, I think. So what can we do to spread it like around the globe, completely spread it around the globe? And then what can we do to take it to the next level? I really want to hear you guys' input on that. So leave your comments, leave your messages. Make sure you hit us up on this show and let us know what you think. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. This is a short one. If you know of anybody that wants to be a guest on the show, make sure you bring them to our attention, and make sure you share this podcast with everybody. We really, really, really need your help to spread the podcast to everybody all over the world who's into JDM car culture. We want them to be our listeners. So spread the word, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Cause I'm moving too fast. I stay rolling on my grind with my money on my mind. Cause I'm riding, y'all. I'm riding fast, approaching red line. I'm ready to blow. Ballin' till I'm falling, I ain't trying to move slow. Player, holler at you later.
Yeah, Ricky 10 Shadow Riders, listen. Yo, I'm on the top of the game. Hard body on top of these lanes. Switching gears in the Maserati. Driving insane as fly as can be. Giovanna rim size 23. Shit, I'm as high as can be. Ladies call me handsome. Way before I did the Shadow Riders anthem. Now I'm sitting in the Black Phantom. More than they can handle. I play the ball hard in the car. Loves is coming out the front panel. What you know about that? But I ain't TIP, I'm RIC, KY. I show you how to stay fly in the daytime. With Shadow Riders on my side, hopping up the G-Ride, I stay live. The boy wonder's not a talk of the town. Toasted up, never boast, yeah, I'm holding it down. Gunning for now, these tough Burger King niggas coming through steady, keeping the crown. While I'm in the fruit punch jag, popping up, riding around. Believe me, dog, this is real as it sounds, shit. Yo, excuse me, y'all. Ricky Tan's in the building, and I'm on top like gum stuck to the ceiling. Staying fly, getting dough, such a wonderful thing. And my ice fresh out the cold like I'm into a spring. The game's taking over, yup, like a government sting. Shadow Riders, Ricky Tan with a dangerous team, a dangerous scheme. Everybody feel it in the air. I got the spotlight now when I'm making it clear. Switch your style up. Time to ride out now, or put your hands in the air like the kids scored a touchdown. I get love everywhere that I touch down, so don't be mad when your girl gave me a rub down. I'm coming off the top everywhere that I go, so when they say who's the best, yeah, you already know. lifestyle, baby. Fast cars, fast money. You know how we do. Ricky 10, heartbeat raps. Shadow Riders. It's a dangerous team.